the American my American fellows, and I was proud to be with them, and I was proud to exchange some views with them. But let us also cross our fingers that this will pass easily. But I don't think it will pass like that.
Yes. Well, Dr. Lachine, do you think that such a huge global incident now can actually have some sort of an effect on the way the military movements and the military tensions are taking place across the region?
It is not for the benefit of the United States right now, and it is not for the benefit of the American administration right now to take some military action, unless this administration is feeling that it will lose anyway. So I hate to say Iran, or I hate to Syria, and gaining, some sort of false victory. And I say false victory because you cannot conquer a people, you cannot conquer a state. Okay, people, even if you conquer them, even like what happened in Iraq, they attacked Iraq, they occupied Iraq, but finally they are leaving Iraq, and the result is hate against the Americans among the Iraqis. So this is not for the benefit of the United States and the people and the country, but it depends on the feeling of the administration and their planning. If I was in, consulting the American administration, and I have a PhD in the American public opinion, this is my major, I was saying that no military action should be taken against Syria, no military action should be taken against Iran, even if there is a chance for winning the elections, but it will be on the cost of the American people and the pride of the Americans and the willingness to cooperate with the United States. And it is the biggest power in the world, so yes, it should act rationally, and but in the Middle East area, the American policy, the American foreign policy, it is the same from the beginning of Israel till now. Yes. And I hope some change will happen, because Israeli is committing crimes. Israelis are committing crimes. I mean, not the Jews, but the Zionists, those who are controlling Israel, those who are stealing Israel, those who are stealing the freedom of the Israeli people, those who are stealing the lives of the Israeli people, and terrifying them and making them feel that they will be, there will be some fighting with them by the Arabs, and they are not living in a rest. I want, the Israeli people to live like any people in the world. The Jews to live like any people in the world. And I would like to make it clear that their leaders are betraying them in a way that they are creating fear inside them. So, you are going to the street and you are afraid, you are going to the park and you are afraid, you are going to work and you are afraid, and every day you are expecting a war, every day. What kind of life is this? Yes. You have to live in peace for some time. Okay.
Yes. And focusing more now on the situation in Iran and Syria, we're still with the Washington Post, and we read another article, and the headline reads, "Elite Iranian unit's commander says his forces are in Syria." Now, the commander of Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps said on Sunday that members of its elite Quds force are inside Syria, but are not involved directly in military work. The first time a senior official has publicly admitted the involvement of Iranian military personnel in the Syrian conflict. The Iranians' comments are one of the clearest signs yet that the conflict in Syria has evolved into a broader regional showdown, with Iran and Lebanon's Hezbollah supporting the government of President Bashar al-Assad, and Turkey, Saudi Arabia and Qatar supporting the rebels. Both sides have been accused of funneling arms into the country. In comparison with the scale of support the Arab countries have given to opposition groups in Syria and the military presence, we haven't taken any action there. Major General Muhammad Ali Jafari, the commander of the Revolutionary Guard, said during a news conference in Tehran. According to the semi-official Fars news agency, we have only given intellectual and advisory help and transferred experience. Dr. Lachine, now, do you think that this is for the first time the Iranian Authority publicly admitted and officially admitted that there is some sort of Iranian military presence in Syria? Does this really change the balance of power in the Syrian conflict, especially that a lot of the Arab countries, Turkey and Saudi Arabia and Qatar, they're supporting the rebels. Iran, as well as Lebanon's Hezbollah, they're supporting still the regime of President Bashar al-Assad. And obviously, we have Russia and China supporting the regime. We have a lot of Western powers and Western countries supporting the rebels. Do you see this change in the balance of power in the Syrian conflict escalating and evolving more rapidly than people expected to?
It was, and it is foolish to think that there is no existence for Iranians in Syria. You know, both countries are threatened by the United States. Both countries are subject to be hit by Israel and the United States or by any other force in the world. So the result is that these two forces are going to cooperate with each other. Mr. Jafari, the chief of the Revolutionary Guard, when he said that we have some existence and are providing some military help, you know, like training, like advisory, like anything like this. Okay, what you are expecting him to say? Maybe the Iranians are not participating, you know, actually in the battles, in the military action which is taking place in Syria, but they are playing maybe a more important role because Iran, you know, the power, they have the experience, have the military experience, maybe more than Syria, and Syria is not, you know, a nil number in the equation itself, but we are expecting this, and what do you expect of such a, I mean, what I mean to say is that threatening any part of the people will create some sort of uneasiness, you know, you feel uncomfortable. So you look to comfort yourself as a state or as a country and look for someone who are cooperating with you. For sure, the Syrian regime is supported by Iran, Hezbollah, maybe to some sort of Hamas, some other country, Russia and the United States interests, and they are, you know, against them, the West and the United States, and you do not know where the truth is, but the interests of the Syrian people themselves are, where is the interest of the Syrian people? Syria is collapsing as a country. So the existence of Iranians in Syria is expected and is, you know, according to mind, according to rational, they have to be over there. If I was an Iranian, I was going to be in Syria, and if I was a Syrian in the Syrian regime, I was asking the Iranians to come to Syria to help me. So put yourself in their position and, you know, try to see the picture clearly, you know.
Yes, and does this give the Syrian regime some sort of a harder fist over the Syrian people?
For sure. And let us know first the truth from where all this support is coming to the people who are making the revolution in Syria. The source of the money, the source of military, the source of so and so and so and so and so and so. I don't know exactly what to say in such a situation because we don't have the true information in order to be able to judge, but it's supporting the Syrian regime to take a hard position against the revolutions, the revolution and the revolutionists.
Yes.
Okay, especially both regimes, I mean the Syrian and the Iranian regimes, are threatened by the United States and Israel and some other Western countries.
Dr. Lashin, do you think that Iran is really taking Syria as some sort of a battleground to sort of deal with its nuclear issue against the US and Israel, using Syria as an excuse?
The Iranians will be stupid if they don't use Syria as a deal for a deal in the nuclear issue. You have the Arabs should be stupid if they don't use Iran and the Iranian nuclear issue as a deal in dealing with the Israeli nuclear issue. So the Iranians, if they are doing that, they are intelligent. They are using, you know, what's available to them, you know, in order to be able to have some cards in the game. So I call the Arab countries and the Arab presidents and the Arab, you know, respected kings and all this to use the Iranian issue in order to settle the Israeli issue regarding nuclear power, regarding nuclear activities, you know, in the area. We would like to live in peace. Let us develop this area together. Let us live in peace together. Let us forget about war. Let us forget about all these nuclear issues. Let us forget about this tension. Let the United States work, do its job as a big country in the world, as a leader for freedom, as a leader for democracy. You know, I can talk from here to next year, asking for so and so and so. But I hope that the people will listen.
Yes. Dr. Lasheen, what about now there's been a lot of movement of military ships, Western military ships to the Gulf area. Also, a lot of heavyweights are being involved in the Syrian conflict. Iran, the U.S., Israel, a lot of like big players are being involved in the Syrian conflict. Where does this leave the rebels in Syria? What can they do to ensure that they still have some sort of a say and a presence within this conflict?
Well, all these big powers who are fighting on our land, in our area, they don't have the right to fight on our land, in our area. We have to live in peace first. Second, whether Iran won the war, if there is a war, whether the United States and Israel won the war, if there is a war, the rebels are the losers, because they will receive a destroyed country. Look at Egypt now. You know, we don't have fights here in Egypt, but we have bad management, we have bad administration, and look what we are suffering, and will suffer for a long time. Whatever a president or a government or anybody else will do. So the Syrian rebels, those people of Syria who deserve Syria and deserve to live in peace in a good condition in Syria, are not going to win anything from any military action which is taking. All the winners will be either the Iranians or the Americans and the West. Even if the United States won the war against Iran, okay, the Syrian will live under the American guardian, under the American control, and Israel will be the one who is winning, you know, at the end of the battle.
Yes. Well, what started off as a peaceful protest in Syria last year has definitely escalated into a big international concern for all countries, whether in the Arab world or in the West, and we're yet to see the developments that will take place in this Syrian conflict. By this, we come to the end of this edition of The World Today. Once again, I would like to thank our very distinguished guest, Dr. Yassin Lasheen, the Professor of Public Opinion at Cairo University. Dr. Lasheen, always a pleasure having you with us.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the viewers, you know.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned for more coming up on Nile International. I'm Henny Saif. Thank you for joining us.